The reluctant commander. Ilara Chen squinted at the worn-out cargo manifest on her display, calculating how to fit 3 more containers into an already packed hold. At 32, she'd spent the last decade piloting supply runs between Earth's colonies, the least glamorous job in the United Fleet. Her small vessel, the Horizon Runner, was practically held together by patches and prayers, but Ilara knew every bolt and circuit like an extension of herself. Dispatch to Runner. We've got a priority medical shipment for Outpost 7. Can you take it? The voice of Station Controller Dawes crackled through her comm. Negative, dispatch. I'm already at 118% capacity. Safety protocols. Override approved. This is critical supplies, Chen. The outpost reported some kind of new respiratory infection. Ilara sighed, her dark eyes scanning the cramped cockpit. Fine. But I'm logging a formal protest. What Ilara couldn't know was that this mundane cargo run would thrust her into humanity's greatest crisis. As she prepared for departure, Earth's long-range observatories detected the first signs of the Norillian fleet, massive ships emerging from what appeared to be artificially generated wormholes. 6 hours into her journey, all communication channels erupted with emergency broadcasts. Ilara's hands froze over the controls as Admiral Raker's gray face appeared on her screen. This is not a drill. Unknown vessels have entered the Sol system and have opened fire on our outer defenses. All military vessels redirect to defensive positions. Civilian craft seek immediate shelter at the nearest outpost or colony. Ilara's first instinct was to comply, turn around, head back to the safety of the main station. But Outpost 7 was nearly defenseless, and those medical supplies might be their only chance if they needed to evacuate. Runner to command. Continuing mission to Outpost 7. ETA 3 hours. No response came. The channels were overloaded with desperate communications. When Ilara approached Outpost 7, the scene that greeted her turned her blood cold. 3 sleek, obsidian vessels, clearly not human design, hovered near the small outpost. Their surfaces rippled with strange blue energy patterns, and they moved with a fluidity that defied conventional propulsion systems. Outpost 7. This is Cargo Runner. Do you copy? Ilara whispered into her comm. Runner, this is Outpost. We're under siege. 3 alien vessels appeared 20 minutes ago. They've disabled our defense grid, but haven't opened fire. They're waiting for something. Ilara's mind raced. The Horizon Runner had no weapons, no military-grade shields. It was just a cargo hauler. But she had something possibly more valuable, a lifetime of navigating asteroid fields and treacherous shipping lanes with underpowered engines and overloaded holds. Commander, what's the status of your emergency power systems? Operational, but what good will that do against those things? Ilara smiled grimly. I have a plan. It's not a good one, but it's what we've got. For the next 20 minutes, Ilara studied the alien vessels, noting how they maintained position, their energy signatures, and most importantly, their blind spots. Years of maneuvering through tight docking bays had taught her to recognize patterns in movement, to feel the invisible currents of space that other pilots ignored. They're using some kind of gravitational manipulation for propulsion, she muttered, watching energy readings fluctuate. Incredible efficiency, but there's a harmonic pattern to it. With deliberate care, Ilara began adjusting her approach vector, using the outpost's bulk to mask her movements. She aligned the runner with the outpost's emergency broadcast antenna. Outpost 7, on my mark. I need you to discharge all emergency power through your communication array. One massive burst, everything you've got. That will fry our systems completely. Better than whatever they have planned. 3 minutes to position. As Ilara brought her ship around, one of the alien vessels detected her movement. It pivoted with startling grace, a weapon port beginning to glow with ethereal light. Now, discharge now, Ilara shouted, simultaneously dumping her engine plasma directly into her ship's rudimentary shield emitters, a modification she'd made years ago for emergency atmospheric entries. The resulting electromagnetic pulse caught the alien vessels in a disruptive wave that matched the frequency of their gravitational dry systems. It wasn't powerful enough to disable them, but it created just enough interference to disrupt their perfect formation and targeting systems. In the 3 seconds of confusion, Ilara executed a maneuver that would have been suicidal under normal circumstances. She fired her emergency thrusters, sending the runner into a controlled spin directly between 2 of the alien ships, trailing superheated plasma from her engines. The Neurillians, never having encountered such seemingly erratic behavior, fired at her previous position. Their energy weapons crossed paths, grazing each other's shields. What happened next astonished even Ilara. The weapons interference created a cascading failure in both ships' energy systems. Their shields flickered and failed, leaving them vulnerable. Ilara didn't hesitate. She broadcast on all frequencies. Outpost 7, target the junction where their hull meets the forward section. Their shield generators are located there. The outpost's minimal remaining defenses, a single-point defense turret, fired with remarkable precision. The first alien vessel shuddered as the shots penetrated its now unshielded hull, causing secondary explosions. The second vessel, attempting to compensate, overloaded its gravitational drive, sending it spinning away from the outpost. The third Neurillian ship, witnessing the unexpected defeat of its companions, retreated with startling speed, disappearing into the darkness of space. In the silence that followed, Ilara's hands trembled on the controls. What she'd done had been impossible. A cargo pilot with no combat training had just defeated 3 advanced alien warships. Runner, this is Outpost 7. What did you just do? Ilara stared at the drifting wreckage. I noticed their propulsion created a harmonic pattern. All technology has rhythms, frequencies it operates on. Disrupt that pattern, and even the most advanced systems become vulnerable. News of Ilara's impossible victory spread rapidly through the human forces. As the Neurillian invasion escalated across the system, military command found themselves turning to an unlikely source for tactical advice, a cargo pilot who somehow understood the aliens' technology better than their best scientists. 3 days later, Ilara stood before the hastily assembled War Council, her cargo pilot jumpsuit looking out of place among the military uniforms. Admiral Raker, his face lined with exhaustion, addressed the room. Ms. Chen's observations about the Neurillian propulsion and shield frequencies have been verified by our analysts. She's demonstrated an intuitive understanding of their technology that our military experts haven't been able to match. A gray-haired general scoffed. With all due respect, Admiral, are we really putting our defense strategy in the hands of a cargo hauler? Ilara stepped forward, her quiet voice carrying unexpected authority. The Neurillians rely on perfect harmonic frequencies for their systems. Their technology is more advanced, but it's also more rigid, less adaptable to unexpected variables. That's why my chaotic approach confounded them. She touched a control, bringing up a simulation on the main display. Their fleet moves like a single organism, with each ship maintaining precise positional relationships. Disrupt that pattern, and their entire tactical advantage falls apart. Admiral Raker nodded slowly. We've lost 15 outposts and 3 major colonies in the last 72 hours. Our conventional tactics are failing. Ms. Chen's approach offers our first real advantage. He turned to Ilara, his expression grave. I'm granting you a field commission, Captain Chen. You'll coordinate with our remaining fleet to implement your strategy. Ilara felt the weight of billions of lives suddenly press upon her shoulders. She was just a cargo pilot, someone who transported supplies, not a military strategist. But she understood patterns, efficiency, and improvisation in ways that military training couldn't teach. I accept the commission, Admiral, she said quietly. But I'll need a fleet that's willing to fly like cargo haulers, not warships. As the meeting concluded, Ilara stood alone at the observation window, watching distant flashes of light that marked ongoing battles throughout the system. Tomorrow, She would lead a desperate counteroffensive based on her theories. She was just a cargo pilot. Now the fate of humanity rested in her hands. The Council's captain. The temporary command center buzzed with activity as officers and technicians prepared for Operation Stardust. In the center of the chaos stood Ilara Chen, no longer in her cargo jumpsuit but wearing a hastily issued captain's uniform that still felt foreign against her skin. "Status report," she called, studying the holographic display of Earth's remaining defense fleet. Commander Jackson, a veteran tactical officer who'd been assigned as her second-in-command, approached with visible reluctance. "All ships are in position, Captain. Though I must register my concern about this formation. It leaves our flanks completely exposed." Ilara nodded, understanding his hesitation. Conventional military tactics won't work against the Norillians. They've already proven that. Around them, other officers exchanged skeptical glances. Most shared Jackson's sentiment. Trusting humanity's defense to a cargo pilot's unconventional strategy seemed like desperation. Which, Ilara acknowledged silently, it absolutely was. "The Norillian fleet operates on principles of harmonic resonance," she explained, not for the first time. "Their ships maintain precise spatial relationships to maximize their energy efficiency and weapons effectiveness. Our chaotic formation will disrupt those harmonics." Admiral Riker entered the command center, his presence immediately commanding attention. "The Council has approved your plan, Captain Chen. We'll proceed as you've outlined." "Sir," Jackson interjected, "with respect, scattering our forces goes against every strategic principle." "Every strategic principle has failed us so far, Commander," Riker cut him off. 23 outposts lost in 5 days. The Norillians will reach Earth within 48 hours unless we stop them here. Ilara activated the main tactical display. The key is synchronized unpredictability. Each ship will follow seemingly random flight patterns, but they'll actually be part of a larger harmonic disruption wave. She turned to the communication officer. "Transmit final instructions to all ships. Operation Stardust commences in 30 minutes." As the fleet prepared, Ilara retreated to a quiet corner of the command center. Doubt gnawed her confidence. She'd spent her career navigating cargo through the most difficult routes of the solar system, finding efficiencies where others saw only obstacles. But commanding a battle fleet was entirely different. A young lieutenant approached, offering a data tablet. "Final confirmations, Captain. All ships report ready." Ilara took the tablet, noting the lieutenant's nameplate. "Thank you, Lieutenant Sato." Sato hesitated. "Captain, I was stationed on Outpost 7. What you did there saved us all." Before Ilara could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. Norillian fleet detected. 27 vessels approaching from Sector 9. Ilara moved quickly to the central platform. "All ships, execute Stardust pattern. Remember your training. Follow your assigned chaos algorithms precisely." On the massive display, the human fleet dispersed in what appeared to be random panic. Ships accelerated, decelerated, and changed course unpredictably. To conventional military thinking, it looked like a disastrous rout before the battle had even begun. The Norillian response was immediate. Their sleek vessels adjusted formation, their perfect geometric arrangement shifting to address the scattered human fleet. But in doing so, they fell directly into Ilara's trap. "Now, all ships, execute harmonic pulse," Ilara commanded. Throughout the human fleet, ships simultaneously activated modified shield generators. Instead of defensive barriers, they projected precisely calculated energy pulses, each one targeting specific frequencies that Ilara had identified in the Norillian propulsion systems. The effect was subtle at first. The Norillian vessels continued their advance, but observers noted minute disruptions in their previously flawless formation. "It's working," Ilara whispered, watching the energy readings fluctuate. "Their harmonic synchronization is breaking down." As the human fleet continued its chaotic dance, the Norillian vessels struggled to maintain their precise relationships. Individual ships began compensating independently, further disrupting their collective efficiency. Second phase now, Ilara ordered. A subset of the human fleet suddenly converged, focusing their fire on a single Norillian vessel whose position had drifted from the protective envelope of its companions. The ship's shields, already destabilized by the harmonic disruption, failed under the concentrated assault. All ships, execute attack pattern Chen 3. The battle unfolded like nothing in human military history. Rather than orderly formations exchanging fire, the human fleet moved like a swarm of insects, constantly shifting, never presenting a predictable target. Each ship followed algorithms derived from the chaotic but efficient routes Ilara had navigated as a cargo pilot. Jackson watched in astonishment as the tactical display showed Norillian vessels falling into disarray. They can't adapt. Their technological advantage relies on predictability and precision. Exactly, Ilara confirmed. Advanced technology often sacrifices flexibility for efficiency. The Norillians have never encountered an enemy that embraces chaos as a strategy. 3 hours into the engagement, the tide had decisively turned. 7 Norillian vessels had been destroyed, and the remainder were in retreat, their perfect formation shattered. Admiral Raker's voice carried rare emotion. They're withdrawing from the entire system. Long-range sensors show their fleet regrouping beyond Neptune's orbit. A cheer erupted throughout the command center. Officers who had doubted Ilara hours before now looked at her with newfound respect. This isn't over, Ilara cautioned, studying the retreating energy signatures. They're adaptive. They'll analyze what happened here and develop countermeasures. But we've bought time, Riker noted. Time to understand their technology better, to prepare our defenses. Ilara nodded. And to prepare our offense. We can't just defend indefinitely. In the days that followed, Ilara found herself at the center of humanity's strategic planning. The War Council, once skeptical of the cargo pilot, now waited for her insights before making decisions. Scientists and engineers saw her intuitive understanding of Norillian technology. 2 weeks after the battle, Ilara stood before the full council, presenting her analysis of the Norillian retreat. They're not defeated, they are regrouping. But they've never encountered a species that could challenge them technologically. It's forcing them to reconsider their approach. General Vargas, one of her most vocal critics before the battle, leaned forward. "What's your recommendation, Captain?" "We send an envoy," Ilara said simply. "Not to surrender, but to negotiate from a position of demonstrated strength." Murmurs rippled through the assembled leaders. "They tried to exterminate us without